So welcome to episode 3 of Vibes&Pipettors. We have Anu Ajal today as our third, host.
Hi everyone. My name is Anu, and I guess I have to introduce myself. I'm currently a Fulbright grantee in Nigeria, and soon to be a first-year MD PhD student.
That's cool. How are you getting prepared to transition? Are you do you have a big project that you have to finish up for the Fulbright and then kind of gear up?
Yeah, actually, already finished my project. I'm actually just working on a manuscript. I have the first draft done and it's just getting reviewed by my host. So the initial project that I wanted to come to Nigeria for was to see if there's a relationship between skin lighteners and hair relaxer use and breast cancer among Nigerian women. As you probably know, skin lighteners especially, and also hair relaxers are very widely used in African countries, West African countries. But Nigeria also has a really high usage of those products. So I wanted to see if there's a relationship or correlation between those products and breast cancer. But unfortunately, when I got to Nigeria, I really couldn't pursue that project anymore. So the project that I actually did.
Why not?
So just
too complicated. Issues. Okay.
Issues. But yeah, just based on the advice that my host gave me, it just told me to pursue a different project, especially because the grant is only 9 months long. So just starting a project scratch from ground is it would have been difficult to finish and get something productive within 9 months. And also I probably wouldn't have gone a large scale, a large sample size anyway.
Sample size, okay.
Right. So it would have just been too difficult to pursue or too ambitious in 9 months. So I did more of a retrospective study and
nice.
More
did it turn out okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Just reviewed data, working on a manuscript actually. So hopefully I can publish it.
Amazing. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What's the big finding? What did you find? If you can reveal, if you can reveal it for us, or maybe you can force us to read your paper.
I don't think it's not a novel or anything groundbreaking. It was the project itself was to characterize the pattern of metastasis based on breast cancer molecular subtypes, but with a cohort obviously of Nigerian women, since I'm in Nigeria. So we're just trying to see if the different molecular subtypes, perhaps if they confer more they increase the chance of metastasis, and we did see that some subtypes actually do increase the chances of metastasis. And also what are there site-specific relationships or associations between these molecular subtypes. And I didn't really see any significance in that, but there were some differences that we saw with even the sites that the molecular subtypes usually associate with.
What are the molecular subtypes? Where do they come from? Is there something that's in Nigeria?
The different molecular breast cancer molecular subtypes, so triple negative, which is very common, Nigeria, HER2 positive, and hormone receptor positive and negatives, and HER2 positive.
Okay. We're going to turn this into a cancer seminar.
So that's how cancer is it's broken down. I'm sorry, I don't know nothing about cancer. So I was like, what?
But let's back it up to your reasoning behind getting into Fulbright. Why Fulbright? Do you think was there a rationale in using this what do you call it, this experience and getting prepared for medical school, graduate school?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think Fulbright is definitely one of those few programs that allow students who are not postgrads or graduate students or students people with advanced degrees, to pursue interests out in other countries. So I've been interested in global health ever since I've been interested in medicine, because my relationship or my interest in medicine really developed as due to my interest in health disparities and my passion for global health. So after college and before medical school, I really wanted to pursue an opportunity in global health, but there's not that many programs out there for straight out of undergrad, maybe like a few years of experience or no experience at all, without like an advanced degree. And if Fulbright is like one of those few programs that actually allow you to either like study abroad, maybe like pursue research or actually like teach English in other countries, which is why I Fulbright. And I've actually, the first time I applied was to teach English, and I didn't make it.
Like in Nigeria?
No, it was for Rwanda. I applied to Rwanda.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and it was
that's cool.
So I decided
the second time you got it?
The second time, exactly, the second time's a charm. Yeah, so I decided to apply again, and also with research, since I already had like more research experience at the time. So yeah, that was why I applied Fulbright. And Nigeria, I guess, was more because I kind of wanted to come back home, and especially because like I left when I was 12, and I haven't really had like an adult experience of Nigeria. I've only been here like once in between, like when I moved at 12 and now, before Fulbright, and it was only for 2 weeks. So I really wanted to like experience Nigeria as an adult. And also because like with my interest in cancer, learning about like the disparities that even exist among like Black women and women from Sub-Saharan, I felt like I could do a project on breast cancer and just also like get some more like networking opportunities here, since I do eventually like plan to work in the Nigerian space.
Okay.
Wow. So like that's like totally a full package then. Like you went back home to Nigeria to like, connect to your roots, like you said, as an adult, and also like, like just further your goals and get into like your MD PhD program, which you're going to right now. So wow, this is like awesome to hear. And like I feel like you're super intentional in your path, like, you getting like saying everything you said about like building your your tenure in health disparities in cancer research is, to me, it's like a perfect build up on like the U54 thing. So I'll just give you guys like a background on how me and Anu like actually got to know each other. So like back in college, UMass Boston, we got into this program. It's the NIH sponsored U54 program between UMass Boston and Dana-Farber Cancer Center, and they train like underrepresented minorities in cancer research. And me and Anu were, super interested in that field. We were both in that field, and that's how we met and became friends. And I see a really clear build up in you, like, just tracking your path, like, or gearing your path towards like health disparities, being like somebody at the forefront of health disparities research and medicine. So that's awesome.
Yeah, honestly, and I'm very grateful for Deidre. I know
shout out to all our mentors, man. And and we built like a solid tribe, like people like Udoka, like Deidre, solid people. And
honestly,
Udoka is from the same program too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, we all met through there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Connections.
Yeah. Takes you a long way.
So you mentioned, were you born in Nigeria, or did you? Nice. At what age did you move to the US? Or?
I was born in Nigeria, and I moved. I was about 12 when I moved to the US. So I did high school all over again in the US because I was like a very early education starter here in Nigeria. So I was almost done with secondary school or high school in Nigeria. But when I moved to the US, I had to like basically start over again. But that was a good experience because, I mean, if I didn't do that, would I be here? I don't know. So
that's always a good question. How was that experience? Was it like hard to adapt, or were you like always already like ready?
No, it was
for the high school experience.
It was tough. Okay. It was tough, like just adjusting and assimilating to the culture and system. It was rough. It was a rough time. That's all I remember.
Is that when you got into science, or did you get into science later, much more later on?
That was definitely the time I got into interested in science, because before like moving, I mean, I was 12. You might think that's a really young age, but the way that things work, at least in Nigeria, is when you're in secondary school, you kind of already know like the path that you'd be going to, because it's sort of like the technical colleges in the US. I forgot what they're called, where if you're going to be a nurse, you probably start taking like classes geared towards nursing in secondary school. So that is the same way in Nigeria. So I was planning. I was already taking classes geared towards like accounting and banking. So in the banking system, basically. And I don't know if I had a passion for that. I actually don't think so. But
it was just going where the money is.
I
Like, yo, I want to get paid.
I started off in business school, and that wasn't it.
Go over there.
That wasn't it.
Exactly.
So I get you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely when I got to the US, started like taking more science classes, and started learning more about like the medical field in the US. I think like my high school teachers, like two of my high school teachers actually were the ones that kind of like got me more interested in like science and like the medical field. So just through those experiences, like honors, AP classes, AP chemistry and biology, especially. And I think I took like a medical technology class in high school. It was an AP class as well. And just the experiments that we did, the kind of like extracurricular stuff that we did, just visiting and having people like come to talk to us. Those were like that. I think that was when like my interest actually in medicine and science started. And I decided to pursue like a degree in biochemistry actually at UMass, and like on the pre-med track for that reason. But yeah, I think my interest definitely developed more when I got into college, got more experiences through U54, ACT-S, which is like the Health Equity Scholars Program, through the UMass BackMD. I think those are the times that my interest in medicine actually developed. And I was like, okay, I really like this, and I actually see myself doing this.
Wow. So it really started in high school and like, built up and like,
yeah,
it in like college, basically, like through all these different programs.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Were there particular like events or I don't know, like experiments, or I don't know, like you're talking to a conversation that was like a click for you that, oh, this is the field that I want to be in?
No, I wouldn't say there was like a I think it was just like
combined
together.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was more like everything come together, and obviously like growing up in Nigeria and seeing like how and then coming to the US and see how like a working system actually not like the US system is working, but, but it's better, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it functions.
Developing countries, it functions exactly. So yeah, like just seeing or comparing those two systems, I guess, was also like a motivation for me, because then I was like, okay, I could, become a doctor, get educated to become a doctor in the US, and then bring some of my knowledge to my country and help people. I think that was also like that was definitely part of it for me, maybe like the biggest motivator for me, in addition to like the other programs that I did.
Okay. I mean, that's a very important point, because like, I think we all know about like the big brain drain that happens in Africa. Like, most people who are of like middle class or like have some sort of like privilege opportunity to like get some higher education here in the US, like tend to stay here and like, not go back.
Don't go back.
Yeah. So those who are actually lucky to like get out, never come back, and it leaves the country, like, the continent in like poverty and like where it's at and stagnated.
Yeah.
So, we commend people like you who like are like seeing the vision in Africa and back in the motherland, basically. So I love to hear it. I love to hear that.
It's actually interesting, because when I got Fulbright and I started telling people I'm going back to Nigeria, I remember like actually the person I sold my stuff to in Maryland, he just moved from an Asian country. He's also Nigerian, surprisingly, moved from an Asian country to do his postdoc at the NIH. And I remember him just asking me why, like, everyone's trying to leave, why are you going back there?
Right.
But yeah, even being here, like a lot of people they're working really hard to leave. And I feel like I understand the problems. I understand why they feel like Nigeria is not safe for them. Nigeria is not good enough for them. But at the same time, if everyone leaves, not everyone can leave, first of all. So not everyone can leave. So we have to make it not, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Nigeria, just like many other African countries, they have infrastructures which are corrupt and mismanaged. And I think it's up to people like us, like people, like the natives, to like fix it, because nobody else is going to do it for us.
Exactly.
So I love this. I love, I mean, I myself am on the same path, but it's not about me today. Yeah. So, it's great to hear about like, your accomplishments in like science and medicine so far. But like, what are some challenges that you think you face? We all know like barriers are like people like us, people who look like us, sound like us, and are from places like us, like face in this field. What
Yeah.
can you talk to us about some challenges you've had and how you overcame them?
Yeah, it's definitely not, it hasn't been easy, especially finding the motivation to just keep going. Like, I'm what now, graduated in 2019, so 3 years out of college.
Right.
And yes, I was in an environment, at least at the NIH, for 2 years where there were other people like me. So finding that motivation wasn't like too hard because there were other people who were on the same path. But then COVID hit like 6 months or less than 6 months after I got there. So didn't really have like that connection. The connection was not as strong anymore. I was studying for the MCAT on my own. And I had to retake the MCAT. So it's just, there's been a lot of like issues or a lot of challenges around like finding motivation to keep going. But I think for me, like just reminding myself of like my reasons for why I chose this path in the first place. And also like just keeping myself, reminding myself of my why really is like what has kept me going. And I think it's like being the biggest thing for me, just the motivation. Obviously also like imposter syndrome, that's definitely that's very big, because if you're probably one of the few Black people or the only Black person in all the spaces that you find yourself in, it's sort of like it could get on your like ego and make you feel like, oh, am I even good enough to be here, or am I here because they have to keep up the quotas or something. But yeah, so it gets into my head sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely not gonna lie. It gets into my head sometimes, but I just remind myself, or at least the people around me actually remind me of my accomplishments and why I deserve to be in the spaces that I've found myself in.
Wow. No, it's great to hear. Like, it's sad that like most of us, if not all of us, like have to like feel like we're not worthy of like our accomplishments, like things that like we actually strive for. We get to these places and we have to question our own worth. And
it's crazy.
It really is crazy. And shout out to you for like staying strong and like getting through it. And I can see like you had a good tribe around you, people who actually supported you and like reminded you of your accomplishments, like you just said. So that's all. That's what like we all need. We all need like community, like people who support you. So a message to like all those listening, find like supporters, find people who believe in your vision. And because people, I believe life is about like people and beauty. So like find your duty, which is like in science and in medicine, and find people to help support that vision and help like make it a reality. So yeah.
Exactly. No, I definitely feel like my mentors, my friends, even though my family doesn't really understand like, what it takes to like be on the path of medicine or be pre-med. I think when I was going through my MCAT struggles, they actually understood because
Nice.
I think they actually understood better during like the MCAT struggles, especially. But just having those like, like the strong support system around it, it's very, 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 very important. Like my PI, for example, when I was at NIH, I think when I first told him I was going to apply for Fulbright, it was like, oh yeah, you're going to get it. And I was like, and he just kept telling people that like it would introduce, after I applied, it would introduce me to people and be like, oh yeah, just apply for Fulbright. And I'm like, can you stop? I haven't gotten it yet, but so it was very, 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 very supportive of the dream. And those are like the people that you want around you.
Nice.
No, amazing. We need professors like that in life.
Yeah.
I have a small question actually. So you mentioned you kind of having to remind yourself of like the reasons why you are on the path that you are. Do the reasons, do they change along the way, or do they kind of stay the same? You don't have to share them if you don't want to.
No, I think my reasons have actually stayed the same.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part, I think they've stayed the same. Yeah, maybe after each experience, I learned more about medicine, and but the core reasons are like the things that I mentioned earlier. So just growing up, my experiences growing up in like a poor healthcare system, and having the motivation to like try to change that. So that's definitely like a big reason for me. But also the things that I've seen just in terms of health disparities in general. Yeah, so I wouldn't say they've really changed. Maybe I've had it on like reasons, but it's all focused around health disparities and just improving that, I think.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, I don't know, but I think a lot of things, at least is what I learned about this first year in my PhD, is that things become more defined, like because you come in with you know, because we're still young, we're like young and like dumb, so we're like, oh, we can do everything, but then we're like, okay, maybe let's slow down a bit and kind of see what's more realistic. And I think that's like something that I've learned how to do.
Definitely, yeah.
Which is, I think it's something that we kind of forget sometimes, but something to remind ourselves of.
If there are like one or two things that motivated or inspired you to like achieve your level of success, what would they be?
The first thing, I'm laughing because the first thing that came to my head was
money, banking, and is that banking background?
Honest, yo. Like,
bringing it out.
Nah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Like real talk, like real talk. Money moves the world, so
that's cool.
That's
exactly. But no, I think just like I'm a naturally like ambitious person. So when I set a goal for myself, I make it a mission to actually accomplish that goal. And like you said, I was very intentional about my path. And I was very intentional about my path actually, because like I mentioned, I applied for Fulbright when I was an undergrad. And knowing that that's like one of the paths to get what I wanted, I reapplied. And like the two goals I had for myself out of undergrad for my gap years were work at NIH, get research experience at NIH, and Fulbright. And I got both things because I was very persistent and very motivated to keep going. Nice. So I think just like my ambitious nature is like something that kept me motivated to keep going. And I think the second, like I've mentioned, just trying, I think it's just trying to achieve my goals, the goals I set for myself, because that's really what I want. That's where my passion lies. But just trying to get there is really what kept me going.
Great, nice. And you know,
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the research that you're going to be doing for your MD PhD, is it going to be themed with what you've been doing already, or is it going to be something that's completely different?
Yeah, so my background for at least like the past 3 years now is cancer biology, mainly breast cancer. And I think I'm definitely very interested in cancer. That's something I've been interested in for a while. But I think I'm also open to like going like into a different field. And my intentions for getting a PhD are also like to get a PhD in like a field or in a field that is sort of like diverse. So I was actually looking more into like epidemiology. I might not do epidemiology anymore, just because, I might not do epidemiology anymore. I was more interested in molecular epidemiology, and Case Western doesn't have like a molecular epidemiology pathway. So, which is why I might not do epidemiology anymore. But I want something that will allow me the flexibility to, if I wanted in the future to not focus on cancer anymore, like my experiences and my knowledge would still be relative to whatever like the other field that I decide to go into is. So I'm interested. Currently, I'm still interested in cancer biology. That may be what I eventually like do for my PhD. I'm not sure yet, but I'm very, very open. So I guess my rotations will determine. Okay.
We'll re-interview you in like a couple of years, and then we shall see.
We'll see.
All right. So to wrap up, for all our listeners out there, like, what's a message that, like, you as like an incoming, like, MD PhD trainee want to say to people just to inspire them, to motivate them to, like, achieve like this level of greatness that you are at right now? I'm gonna keep gassing you up, I'm gonna keep gassing you up on this.
Well, I'm gassed.
Yeah. So I'm super happy for you, bro.
Thank you. I'd say like the journey is honestly long, and even right now, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling I'm feeling a lot of anxiety because I'm like, oh, I'm really committing myself, or I already committed myself to like at least 8 years. And the age thing is starting to like creep up on me because I'm like, I'm 26 right now, 8 more years. Okay, let's not talk about age. So when people ask me program is, I'm just like, let's not talk about it. But I think the journey is long, but like if it's something that you're really interested and passionate about, like you should do all you can to get there. And what I really tell people is like be intentional about your goals, but at the same time be flexible. So if this is what you want, make a plan. I'm a natural planner, so like even from college, I had a plan. This is what I'm going to do this summer, next summer. Just figure it out. Plan ahead of time. But like if be intentional, but be flexible because things might not work the way you expect them to. Like I didn't think I was going to take 3 gap years. I thought it was just going to be 2. I didn't think I was going to take the MCAT twice, right? So those things are like, there are some things that might be out of your control. But if it's really what you want, you'll figure it out. Just like make a plan, reach out to people. You don't have to know someone for them to help you. You can reach out to people, cold email. If you find someone, maybe you read their research and you're interested in their work, reach out to them, email them. They might be willing to like give you like an informational interview, or you might end up working for them. I don't know. That happened to me in college. So just reach out to people within your own network. If there's someone who you feel, or if there's something you're interested in, the people within your network that you already have access to might also be able to help you get that. So definitely like utilize the people around you, reach out to new people, find mentors, really like support, have a good or strong support system because it's not easy. Like I mentioned earlier, like I don't know if I would still be here without the people around me, like just reminding me of my goals and reminding me of how much I've already accomplished. Even when I don't believe in myself, like the people around me actually believe very strongly in me. And
like Jude over here.
Yes. So yeah, so I think that would take you a long way.
Oh, great. So just to re-echo, be proactive and finding mentors and be assertive and like, chasing after what you want. Don't think like, things will come to you. You have to be active.
Exactly.
Active in chasing everything you want. Just like Andrew.
Exactly.
So yeah.
You can also reach out to us, because we're always here. You can always reach out, send us an email.
Well, do you have any advice for an incoming grad student?
Oh, you asking us?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, have as much fun as you can before, because it gets real. No, but real talk. First year, like in most schools, I think is pretty chill. I don't think you guys have the same like track as us. I feel like you guys do rotation in between like your medical school years, right? And so at least that's how it works here for the MD PhD program at Cornell. I don't know about
the way it works at Case is because the MD curriculum is like kind of flexible, or really flexible, more flexible than most schools. You're expected to take like a grad level course or rotation during the school year, and then the summers. So by like my second year of MD, I should have already known like what like exactly.
Okay, basically. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll say, I mean, my advice for rotations is just keep an open mind, like explore, all for like the number of rotations you're allowed for, explore like all the types of like science you're interested in. Like don't limit yourself to one thing, and reach out to like preferred PIs beforehand, ask about like interesting projects so you can like gauge where like, where you're standing and like which projects might be like of worth your time or worth your like interests. Yeah, beside and have fun, really. Just have fun doing your rotations because when like the real PhD starts, it gets real. Like when your PI starts like bugging you for data and like asking you to like, spit this and this and this out. I don't know, you become like a machine. Yeah, that's how I feel at this point. So like, but I mean it's worthwhile. Like I'm learning so much every day. Like, I mean, there's a lot of failures, but like with every failure, like I learn something new. And like, and every success I have, like I make, I feel like it's all me. It's all like my doing. Yeah, so I feel like I own it. I feel like the author of like my entire like PhD story. As of now. So yeah, it's there's ups and downs to it, but it's worthwhile. It's rewarding for sure.
Well, I'm really, really, really proud of you. Like, just thinking back to our UMass days, man. Like, we made it.
We did. We did the trenches, yo, shit.